once this starts.
Earth has ever earned the death penalty.
All right, guys, good morning. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at the iHeartMedia Empire for our Real Animals radio show. We've got Emily Muhlstein from the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. She is the public information officer, so she is kind of the point of communication, if you will, for the council. And this morning we're going to be talking a lot about fisheries management and kind of how the council process works and answering your questions. So you can type your questions into the comments below. You can call into the radio show, 1-800-969-9352. And the video will start shortly. The radio show is going to start in a few minutes here, and we'll get rolling on our Real Animals Saturday. So make sure you like the video if you enjoy our radio shows. Comment where you're watching from. And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Hopefully you enjoy the show, guys. We're going to get started very shortly.
its staff, management, or parent company, iHeartMedia Incorporated.
Welcome to the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show, your weekly voyage into Florida fishing. Presented by Hubbard's Marina, hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
Good morning, y'all. Captain Dylan Hubbard here for our News Radio WFLA Real Animals Radio Show. And unfortunately, no Captain Mike again this week. You guys are stuck with me, but got my friend Emily in the radio station this morning with us. Emily Muhlestein. That's how you pronounce it, right? Am I wrong?
It's Muhlestein, like the animal in the beer mug is what I say.
Muhlestein. You know, we've been friends a while, and I still don't know how to pronounce your last
It's not worth correcting you, Dylan.
Okay.
You're always right, so.
If only that was true yesterday.
Or only if your wife felt that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Emily is the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council's Public Information Officer. So what does that mean?
It means I am basically the intermediary, right, between fisheries management and fishermen. And so that goes both ways, right? So I have kind of two major responsibilities. First one is explaining to fishermen sort of what the regulations are, why they are what they are, and then also letting them know when there is opportunities for them to participate in the process. And then the second part of that is it's also my job to bring the feedback that I'm getting from the fishermen to the decision makers and explaining sort of what the fisherman perspective is before management decisions are made.
Nice.
It's
way
hard.
better than I would have explained it, but I guess that's your job.
Yeah.
You're good at it. So Emily and I have gone back a little ways as I got involved in fishery management, and we became friends over time. I hope, at least I think so. But Emily is a big-time fisherman. You were out yesterday stone crabbing, right? And you guys had a very good start.
Oh, God. So we run 10 traps. You know, it's 5 per person. And so we run 10 traps.
Look at her just subtly dropping the regulation while
look
she's
at that.
talking.
See, it's my job. Actually, stone crab's not, but, you know, out of the, you know, we go out of Shell Key, just out of that pass right there. And they're probably about 2 miles offshore. There's a little bit of hard bottom there, and we've had them in the water for almost 10 days, right? And we start with pig's feet because clearly, you know, the fish carcasses get really stinky really fast, and they wouldn't last that long. But we got an average of a half a claw per trap yesterday. So it was the worst trapping day that we have had since I've been doing this.
Wow.
But luckily, I have a really awesome husband who went diving for them and ended up, you know, getting our 2 gallons anyways. So if they weren't willing to walk in the trap, we just had to go get them.
Yeah, you had to dive in after them.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a little depressing.
That's cool. And you actually had one of the council members on your boat, right?
We did, yeah. Tom Frazier, who's also, he's the president of the College of Marine Science at USF. He's also become a friend of ours, and he came out with us yesterday to help.
Yeah, so council members and council staff out fishing.
It's a shocker, I know.
It happens, people. So as far as the weather goes, we're going to take a step back a little bit and want to talk real quickly about this week. We are on that first quarter moon, coming up on the full moon, and definitely a little bit of weather moving in. We've got a cold front moving through tomorrow. That's going to mess up the weather a little bit here Monday, Tuesday. Going to be calming down Wednesday. Then it looks like we got a little brief period of reprieve before what looks like potentially another front next weekend. So it is fall has fallen here in the state of Florida. And I love this time of year because it's like winter when you wake up. And then by 10 a.m. it's fall, and then by noon it's summer again.
Yeah, but you know, these fronts coming in on the weekend really messes up us average working Joes, man.
Yeah,
we don't get to be on the water like you any day we feel like it.
Yes, I mean 7 days a week is a nice opportunity to go fishing, and definitely I tend to not enjoy it as well as far as a business perspective goes, but it also kind of spreads out demand and will hopefully potentially push some of that weekend traffic during the week, which is good because during the week it's always ironic to me. You'll have like 20, 30, 40 people going fishing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday is sold out. People are elbow to elbow on the docks and everywhere in Johns Pass, and it's like Johns Pass and all these other places are so great to visit during the week. When I was growing up, my dad would just take me out of school. Hey, we're going fishing Tuesday, and that was the way to do it, because then you get to enjoy lighter loads and less traffic on the water. So I would encourage parents everywhere to take your kid out of school every now and again.
We have kind of a family policy that we take every opening day off. If we can.
go.
But I was stuck on meetings with you yesterday, so I couldn't. I really messed that one up. But yeah, like I'm supposed to go spearfishing tomorrow morning, and we're not doing that because it's going to be like 66, and I am truly a Florida wimp when it comes to that.
Yeah. Your husband and you both spearfish a lot in Tampa Bay, huh?
We do. Inside the Bay is shockingly good if you don't mind, spearfishing blind, essentially.
With bull sharks.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're cool with that, go ahead. But
So I think you're one of the few people that I know that regularly spearfish around the bridges in Tampa Bay.
yeah, you know what? I'm getting a little bit old and weary of that. I have children now, and so like the threat of a bull shark is, I'm actually not scared of sharks. I don't want. If you're ever under, like near the shipping channel and a big boat comes through and you have to grab onto a rock so you don't get sucked into the impeller, like I'm kind of over that stage of my life.
See, I love diving. I love spearfishing, but I wouldn't mess with Tampa Bay. I don't mind sharks. I like sharks. One of my dreams is to eventually swim with a great white before I pass. That's bucket list stuff. But I like to be able to see the sharks.
Yeah.
that I'm swimming with.
No, I mean, I prefer the Keys if I'm going somewhere, but.
Not even the Keys, just offshore.
Yeah.
Once you get out
But
west,
it's
and you
not
got
a guarantee,
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee that your viz is going to be good offshore. But,
Yeah, well, you pick and you choose.
Yeah.
I'm not that hardcore of a diver. More topside for me. But when the visibility is that good, you gotta make time.
And
for
yesterday, by the way, it was insane. The visibility, for whatever reason, and it's shocking to me because we've had all of these weird water quality issues. The visibility in the bay. Well, we are. Yeah, true. Well, there's a bunch of dead fish yesterday when we were checking our traps. And I'm wondering, usually I tend to associate the red tide. And this is totally a personal opinion, not like a scientifically backed one. But I think that the red tide is good on the shrimp and the crabs. Like it ends up being a
100%.
good season after that. But I was shocked yesterday, and I wonder if it's because there was also, we probably saw 12 or 13 fish floating by as we were driving. And so I don't know if the two are related, but for some reason, despite these crazy water quality issues, clarity inside the bay has been unprecedented. And I don't know if that's true up by you guys.
Yeah, where red tide isn't, the water is very clear.
It's nuts.
And that has a lot to do, at least, I don't know if this is scientific, but in my
The caveat.
experience, a lot of times red tide will kill all the other stuff in the water too, like the other algae, and a lot of times behind a really bad red tide bloom, you'll actually have clearer water because everything else is cleaned up.
This is the time of year that it should be kind of murky because there's so many, it's nutrient rich, it's hot out. I associate this time of year with real hazy water, and it's, it doesn't clear up like this until winter usually. So it's a blessing and a curse, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But on that front, you mentioned it, the stone crab fishery. I mean, obviously that opened yesterday, was opening of stone crab season. And the stone crab do enjoy that red tide bloom. They get more fish to feed on the bottom. And a lot of those different crustaceans, especially shrimp, proliferate and actually get bigger during these red tide blooms. And I've noticed it in our bait tank at Hubbard's Marina. I mean, the shrimp we're getting are small lobsters.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And I've seen that posted in a bunch of different places and fishing pages and groups about how big shrimp are right now.
Have you ever been recreational shrimping?
Yeah. I
With
used to do
those
that.
Ozello traps. God, it's fun, man.
Wait,
They-
I always just used
A dip net or something.
a dip net and a lantern.
So I'm getting old and lazy, right? And so what we have these it's basically like a cage at the end of a pole that has a mechanism, and you can put it on top of the shrimp and you pull a trap door shut, and then you just dump it in. So there's no bending over and searching through seagrass. It's just it's a straight up selective thing. I don't even know if the guy makes them anymore. It was an older gentleman who made them in his garage, and I got it years and years ago. But man, if you guys haven't done that, it is so fun. You find a shallow grass flat. You can do it from shore if you don't have a boat. If
Yeah.
you have a boat, I suggest you get on it like at sunset and go find a shallow grass flat. And if you have a headlamp and you can look into the grass flat and you see their orange little eyes and you can just pick up those shrimp. I mean, it is super fun.
Speaking of getting older and being lazy, even at a young age, I always work smarter, not harder.
Yes, that's it.
For me, it's a pass. You just go to a pass, you anchor up, or go to a bridge or a fishing pier, and where water gets constricted, more flow, and those shrimp get ripping by you, and it's easy to spot them and just dip them with a net.
Yeah,
Makes it
same
real easy.
same thing.
But grass flats are fun because
it's
then you
fun.
see other stuff too.
But it can't be
don't forget
windy.
your flounder gig.
Oh God, maybe not
But
these days. Who knows if they're even there?
They're on a seasonal closure right
Yeah.
now, guys.
Yeah.
It's spawning seasonal closure, so don't gig flounder right now. But they reopen December 1st. So
Nice.
yeah, there's that. That's state regulations. There's a big difference between state and federal regulations.
There is a huge difference between state and regulations, except that I will say that the state does get a very big role in infusing its both science and its management perspective into federal regulations. So while there is a very clear difference in sort of the management process that the state goes through and the species and the area that they regulate, they still participate really heavily in the federal management process. I mean, because clearly all 5 Gulf states have large stakes in our
But
fishery.
let's talk for a minute about how awesome Florida is. So Florida has the largest representation on the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, and we also have the best state representation in the form of Martha Gaius.
Who's now our vice chair on the council.
I know. I jokingly call her a gangster because of the Amendment 50 and the RFP for state management. She walked in there and got like 44% of private recreational red snapper at a time pre-Great Red Snapper count, where the overall belief was the Western Gulf had all the red snapper, not us over here in Florida. And she was able to walk in there and get 44%. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, and I think just for for the listeners, the relative allocation. So with that Amendment 50, which was we
Wait a
call
minute.
regional.
Wait a minute. We're up against a break right now. So I know I see your
That's a
wheels
big one.
turning.
I know it's a
Yeah,
big one.
and
Well,
you're
we'll
gonna-
talk about it after the break.
Yeah. Definitely a great segue. But keep in mind, guys, that you want to join the conversation, you have a question, give us a call, 1-800-969-9352. WFLA News Radio, Real Animals Radio Show, coming right back.
In my pocket, I put my dollars in a can. I will buy you.
All right, where do I
Off
pee?
is good. So it's going to be down the way. If you take a right out of here and then walk to the very bitter end of the hallway, take a left, it's on your right. Yep. We did it. So hopefully you guys have some questions. You can always call in and let us know your questions over the phone. Have a conversation. As you heard, it's 1-800-969-9352. Or you guys can drop your questions into the Facebook feed. Good morning, Mark Reeves. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see here. Someone at a gas station. Definitely expensive nowadays at the gas station. Mike Mahoney being Mike Mahoney in the comments, as always. Thanks for the entertainment. Captain Neil Holland, good morning. Ocean Aid 360, Go Fish, Tampa Bay. How are you doing, Neil? Hopefully you're having a good morning, buddy. All I'm thinking about right now is bacon. Bacon, bacon, bacon. What in the world? Look at you. You found it.
I couldn't find the light at first, and I left the door closed behind me, and it was like the scariest moment of my life. Not actually, but you know.
Just talked about swimming with bull sharks and almost being sucked up by a ship, and a dark bathroom got you.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
Alright, I'm going into Red Snapper. Let me pull a couple of things up. How long are these breaks?
They vary. I don't try not to follow it. I just write down when they start. So this next one's a little short between them. The worst drug epidemic.
I think it's a good opportunity maybe for us to bring up how we've increased ACL.
And red snapper are no longer considered overfished. Another good subject.
Where is this? I love that in, I think it was like 2007, it was 7 million pound tack, and now it's a
14 something.
15.1.
15. More than doubled. TAC is total allowable catch. That's one thing we got to try to remember to do.
Yeah, well, we have to not use tack because that's old school.
Yeah. Now it's ACL, annual catch limit.
For eligible individuals 18 or older only, not available in Oregon or West Virginia. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
I want to have that job. Speak really, really fast.
Can he speaks normal and they just speed him up?
Maybe. Who knows? I love those commercials though. If you have headaches, use this medication. It may cause death. And a laundry list of other things. But your headache will be gone.
Somebody said that they don't advertise the vaccines on TV because they don't want to list the side effects. I don't know if that's true.
Ooh.
I had never thought about it.
I like that. You got your tinfoil hat on this morning, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, I got vaccinated as soon as I could. You got to read the counterpoints, you know?
Yeah. But it's already, I mean, at this point, you've already taken it, so I wouldn't want to read the counterpoints. Just stick your head in the sand.
I can't avoid that.
Oh, here we go.
Hubbard's Marina. Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
News Radio 970, Real Animals Radio Show, brought to you by Bartow Ford. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a new roof or roof repair, don't forget to check out our friends over at Affordable Roofing Systems. They understand that your roof is a large investment and protects most everything you own. Let Affordable Roofing Systems' 3 decades of experience and roofing knowledge guide you through this important process. Whether you need a shingle, metal, tile, or flat roof, Affordable Roofing Systems is your safest choice for repairs or replacements. Affordable Roofing Systems is defined by integrity, respect, and honesty, and has a personalized and professional approach to doing business. Call Affordable Roofing Systems today at 888-397-ROOF for your free estimate, or visit their website at affordableroofingflorida.com. And with that, we were talking about red snapper, weren't we? Or you were starting to.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes that's the only fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
It is not.
But it's not. It's
much
definitely
to the
not.
chagrin of the council.
So we were talking about regional management, right? And you know, sort of segued into how Florida got 44.8% of
there it is. Even more
of
than
the
4.
allocation. And so what regional management did is it essentially turned over management of private recreational anglers to the states. But in order to do that, we have this federal law that makes sure that we have to manage fisheries with annual catch limits. And so in order to turn management over to the states, we basically had to divide the entire annual catch limit for the private recreational anglers amongst those states. And so you can imagine that's a kind of a contentious conversation where the states are all sitting at a table like trying to argue how much of that percentage they should get. And it's based on historical catch, but if you sort of manipulate the time series or change the years that you're looking at, the data and those numbers shake out differently. It's interesting because historically we sort of think about the biomass of red snapper being in Texas or the Western Gulf, Texas, Louisiana.
Used to be.
But the anglers sort of being mostly concentrated in the Eastern Gulf. So in Texas, actually, they only got 6.2% of that allocation. So if you think about that in comparison to what Florida got, it's a really interesting divide there.
Because Martha Guy is a gangster.
She's a great representative for the state, for sure. I don't know about
That's
her
one way
gang
to say it.
affiliations, but
No, but it was awesome to be able to see the state of Florida, FWC, and Martha and her team to be able to pull that off and get so much allocation for private recreational red snapper fishermen here in the state of Florida. I mean, we have like 60+%. I think it's like 62, 66% of the landings for red snapper. It's incredible how many anglers we have. And the argument at the time was, well, the Western Gulf has all the biomass. That's what I've always heard at council meetings. It's like, we catch a lot of red snapper over here in Florida. And finally, the Great Red Snapper Count came out, and one of the findings was Florida has more red snapper than many states combined.
Right.
And the biomass is definitely shifting over to the Eastern Gulf. So great stuff. And I think it has a lot to do with that pipeline they built, that nice little railroad they built us from the Northern Gulf.
It could be. That pipeline definitely holds some fish, doesn't it?
And a lot of moving fish.
So, we started the red snapper conversation because you were talking about our advocates on the council that are Florida members.
Yep.
And so just while we're sort of on that, I think it's a really good opportunity to talk about the other members. So Martha Guy, as Dylan said, does actually represent FWC on the council, and she's good at it.
Very good.
She's our vice chair right now. But there are 3 other Florida council members. And those council members, it's not just the state folks that sit on the council. There are fishermen or people that have expertise in the fishery that are also nominated by the state governors and then appointed by the Secretary of Commerce. And for the state of Florida, Phil Disco is one of the council members. He's actually the former president of Yamaha Marine Group. And he lives kind of in the Naples area. He's a very fishy dude.
Extremely fishy. Fishes every day.
Because he's retired from Yamaha. Like, what do? You go fishing, clearly.
On your brand new Skeeter boat with a brand new Yamaha engine that he gets every year. And he's definitely a very fishy guy. He has a whole thing built in his backyard dedicated to keeping his live bait fresh and supplied. Very cool. But council makeup is definitely one of the things I want to talk about here during the show. So we'll get more into that for sure. And don't forget, you can call in and join the conversation at 1-800-969-9352 or drop your comment into the Facebook live feed on the Real Animals Facebook page, Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. And don't forget, we'll be right back to talk more about council makeup and more on News Radio WFLA.
Got 3 kids. Got a wife, and I have to say he's got a pretty good life, but he says
News, traffic, and weather. Top and bottom of every hour.
News Radio WFLA, an iHeart radio station.
Florida's Attorney General is launching a new website to help recruit law enforcement personnel from outside the state. Ashley Moody says she's trying to take advantage of other states and cities that didn't support their police during last year's protest.
Instead, they're stepping back, throwing up their hands, and defunding agencies.
Moody says recent protests against police has caused morale in many departments across the country to plummet. She hopes to take advantage of that through the website beafloridahero.com. The search for Brian Laundrie is continuing, and yesterday, Northport police were seen putting up police tape for the first time at the Carlton Preserve. Police were also seen carrying rifles. A police cadaver dog has been brought to the area and is assisting law enforcement in the search. The number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 is continuing to drop in Florida. The numbers released this week show a 24% drop from the week earlier, with 2,938 patients currently hospitalized. With Florida's News, I'm Tim Adkins.
From the Mossy Sun Traffic Center, traffic is still mostly smooth around the Tampa area highways as we get further into the morning. 275, 75, and 94 all moving at the speed throughout the Bay Area at this time. This report is sponsored by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy for free with DuckDuckGo. What is it that makes you uniquely you? Well, DuckDuckGo doesn't think that's any of their business, and frankly, it shouldn't be the business of any tech company. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. Carlson News Radio, WFLA.
Today will be the last summer-like day before fall briefly returns to the Tampa Bay area. Highs in the upper 80s, feels like the mid-90s this afternoon. 10% chance for a few passing downpours, but a cold front will move through overnight, bringing a 20% rain chance. It'll clear before daybreak, and Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to wake up to temperatures in the upper 60s, and in the afternoons, it'll be in the mid-80s, feeling very nice. I'm Max Defender 8 meteorologist Amanda Holly.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
The Florida Gators looking to kill a couple birds with one stone in Baton Rouge. They visited with 2022 defensive back prospect Austin Osbury and his 23 linebacker recruit brother Jaden. Florida State head coach Mike Norvell was revealed to have the second largest pandemic-related salary reduction in college football, just behind Dabo Swinney. And going all the way to full-time, Tampa Bay couldn't come away with the win over the Red Bulls. The two teams ended up tied. I'm Scott Davidson.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
WFLA News is brought to you by the Holland Group Retirement Wealth Advisors.
Don't go through the fall months with that joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids. QC Kinetics uses natural biologic therapies that restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, shoulders, hips, and back. Patients here are raving about the results. You don't have to live with that chronic pain. And don't think surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. You've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what it's all about. Fall is the time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative, regenerative therapies are available here in several locations, and the in-office consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics, 813-305-3000. Non-surgical joint pain relief. That's 813-305-3000.
Hey anglers, the best fishing charters in the Bay Area out of Hubbard's Marina on the boardwalk at Johns Pass. Hubbard's Marina has been catching fish since 1928. They offer everything from family-oriented half-day trips to the more advanced overnight trips. Nobody in the business does big group party fishing like Hubbard's Marina. They also have a great tackle store that can provide live bait and tackle to fish from their boats or from Johns Pass Bridge. So for the best cheeseburger on the Gulf, book your trip today at 727-393-1947 or go to hubbardsmarina.com.
Think you have to travel to New York or Los Angeles to get a deal on a 5-carat colorless diamond in a one-of-a-kind designer setting? What if I told you people from those cities came here for these exquisite pieces of jewelry? Here to International Diamond Center. Welcome to the IDC Prestige Collection.
You never know. You never know where it could go. Where is Captain Mike this morning? I don't know. I don't know where he is this morning. He had something important going on because he wanted to be here, but he couldn't. I know last week he was off because he had his junior Real Animals Pro Staff event. I don't recall what he told me this weekend, but it was something important.
Did he want me to be on the show so badly that he bowed out?
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Just kidding.
And my guest this week is Emily Mule Stein.
The beer
Mule
mug.
Stein. I remember now. Mule Stein. I got it. Still don't know how to spell it, but
don't worry.
at least I got pronunciation. What size Nomad DTX minnow do you recommend to troll on the 39-hour trip? Probably a Nomad DTX. Oh, the DTX minnow. I'm not as familiar with the sizes on those, but we do sell them on our online store, and we have the sizes that we recommend in the shop. But any of the DTX minnows work. They don't really make a super small one, so any of the sizes work. If you want to see them and feel them in person, T.A. Mahoney's carries them, Bass Pro carries them. We have them in our shop too. So there's a lot of options for you there to go check them out. I think we're coming up next. Oh, there it is. I called it. Look at that. It's like I know what I'm doing.
By Hubbard's Marina. Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
News Radio WFLA Real Animals Radio Show brought to you by Bartow Ford. This morning, it's just Captain Dylan Hubbard. Sorry, guys. Cap Mike's not here this morning, but got my friend Emily Muehlstein in the studio this morning talking about fisheries and fisheries management, not science, but she knows a lot about fisheries science and council makeup and good stuff like that. We're going to talk a little bit about council makeup here when we have time, but first we've got Justin from Anna Maria on the line. How are you doing this morning, Justin?
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Just another day in paradise, brother. How about you?
Loading the boat up. Listen, you guys got a good show this morning. I thought this might be a great time, and maybe you could educate me and the public a little more on this. I'm hearing through the grapevine about some issues with grouper, with gag grouper, and potentially some long-term closures coming up here. Something to do with most of the gags in state waters are all female fish, and they're seeing a huge lack of male fish.
Yes.
And so, anyways, I was wondering, you guys would be the best to not just educate me, but the public on this and what the future might hold, so people aren't surprised and understand what's going on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the phone call, and definitely, you're right. Unfortunately, they're in the process right now of doing a gag grouper stock assessment, and this is more fisheries science related. So Emily is more on the management side of things, but definitely important to talk about. And the stock assessment is going on now. They are just at the tail end of that stock assessment, I believe, starting to work through the review process. The final summary, I think, is going to be around November. And essentially the understanding right now. So going back to what we said earlier, the state of Florida is so awesome. They have the FWRI, or Florida Wildlife Research Institute. That is a state-run science kind of warehouse right here in St. Pete, Florida. And that's where FWC does all its scientific research out of. And gag grouper is one of those species that's kind of more Florida-centric. So the state of Florida and FWRI kind of drives the bus on these assessments. And they've been doing a lot of cooperative research studies, which is basically where they work with fishermen to collect research information. And one of my good buddies, Captain Steve Pappin with Fantastic Fishing Charters in Johns Pass, has been doing a lot of those cooperative research trips, and he's seen it firsthand, and a lot of people have talked about it. Ed Walker is one of those, Captain Ed Walker, and many others who have been a part of these research project studies. And basically the overall findings is less than 5%, somewhere around 2 to 5% of the gag grouper in the Gulf of Mexico are males. So predominantly a female population, and that lack of males is potentially why we're seeing such a underproduction of gag grouper, also coupled with red tide events that have been ongoing and other. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of negativity around gag grouper's current stock, and I think a lot of fishermen would agree to a point that there's some gag grouper issues, but they do move around. Fisheries are cyclical, and a lot of times when we see downtrends, we'll quickly see uptrends too. So I'm kind of keeping hope for that, but definitely in the short run, we're going to see a lot of negative about gag grouper. But keep in mind, the process takes a while.
It does. Yeah. And that's what I was going to kind of chime in on is so we're just getting these results of this assessment, this fall. And so I don't expect any changes to come about this year. Probably what usually happens, and it kind of depends on how bad it shakes out. But typically what happens is the council will hear the results of the assessment, and that's going to happen in October. So at the end of this month, they'll hear the gag stuff, and they'll initiate a document to try and figure out how they need to handle that. And those documents take anywhere from
years.
Yeah, the shortest that we could probably expect is 3 council meetings, and that would take 6 months, right? So we're talking about decisions not being made until next summer.
And
at the earliest.
At the earliest.
And that's a fast track. However, if that assessment, does show things and people think that there's an immediate need for some sort of management action, National Marine Fisheries Service actually has some mechanisms for making a short-term emergency rule decision that then will change our catch limits while the council sort of works through their whole management process.
Yeah. So long story short, nothing will happen until 2022, and likely if it doesn't come to an emergency rule, the council will take most of 2022 to discuss gag grouper and issues and management options. And then once they make a final vote, it then takes National Marine Fisheries, we saw it with Lane Snapper, more than a year to actually implement the rules. So it potentially we potentially could not see changes with gag grouper management until 2023, but probably late 2022 at the earliest. So you're right. It's definitely some negativity surrounding gag grouper and also amberjack too, but a lot of that's not going to change for quite a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'm all about fisheries management. When we talk about these long-term closures and you get a 5 years plus, whatever it may be, hopefully they'll consider maybe even just opening a month a year or 2 months, whatever, because, I know in state waters we just, it's not so much we run the risk of having red tide. I mean, gag grouper are one of the species you see a lot of when you have a bad red tide in an area, so I know we lose a lot of juveniles to that, But, I've also seen scenarios, this is just my personal opinion, where it's just too much, where, say, they close it for 5 to 7 years, whatever it may be, and then, I don't know.
I've heard that rumor floating around about a long term.
Too much.
Yeah.
And so let me,
too much.
One of the cool things about the council and about federal management is we're actually mandated to manage to what's called maximum sustainable yield. And that number is basically that we're aiming to be able to harvest as much as we can year after year. And so really, that allows us to avoid these long-term closures. I mean, I think Goliath and Nassau
is there's been a rumor floating around on the internet that there's going to be some long-term closure of gag grouper, and that's just a rumor.
Yes.
And most of the time, there's a very limited season attempt first.
I mean, with red snapper, we went down to 6 days, and so
3 days.
3 days, yeah, even worse. But so
Never
just
forget.
the point being, to answer sort of to that rumor is it is our mandate to manage to maximum sustainable yield. So if there are fish that we can harvest without compromising the stock's ability to exist and reproduce the following year, we are going to allow that harvest in some form. And so I haven't internally heard about some 5-year closure from within the management walls. So it's not a thing that I'm thinking about.
I think it's a Facebook rumor, in my opinion, and I've seen that a couple of times posted. But it's definitely not out of the realm of options if it becomes that negative. But everything I've seen is negative, suggesting anywhere from a 40 to 70% reduction. But this is all very early on. I mean, an assessment happens.
Right.
Then the Science and Statistical Committee must digest that assessment. Then it's got to get through the council process. Then it's got to go through APs. then it gets voted on finally by the council, and sometimes it has to go through public hearings, and then it's finalized by the council, then it's transmitted to NOAA. So, I mean, there's a very long, lengthy, transparent process involved, and plenty of opportunities for you to get involved and attend a meeting or submit written comment on what you think. And what you said is important as far as voicing your opinion on a limited season, and hopefully you'll take the opportunity to write that comment into the council process. What were you going to say, Emily?
Well, the one thing that I did want to say is the process does take a while, and what we can be sure of is the council is going to probably ask for what's called interim analyses. So if we have the stock assessment and we know that something's up, we're going to start paying closer attention to the stock. And so, maybe the stock assessment is saying something, but as to Dylan's point, if grouper is cyclical and it could recover quickly, we are going to be paying extra attention. So hopefully in the coming years, we'll start to see that increase, and we'll be able to sort of monitor that and make sure that our management matches that as much as possible.
Yep.
That's great, and that was very educational. Thank you so much. And I am all about catching more and harvesting less, but I just think just doing the responsible thing, and it sounds like you've got the right people and you all are on top of it. So on a positive note, the fishing is good around Anna Maria and most of Tampa Bay. We do still have some red tide around, but wherever there's not red tide, the fishing is actually incredible, and we are catching some grouper. Snapper fishing has been great, and there's still tarpon around, quite a few tarpon, and
Nice.
sounds like the stone crabbers, some of my buddies here out of Cortez had a really good pull yesterday, so I'm happy for that. And,
I think everybody had a good
we'll see what
pull.
the future brings.
Everybody but me.
Yeah, exactly. The stone crab are definitely crawling. And Justin, I didn't realize your name was cut off here on the screen. I didn't realize we were speaking to Justin Moore. What's going on, man?
Hey, no, it's all good, man. All good. I just wanted to call in this morning and get a little education. And I talked to Eddie Walker last night. We were talking about tarpon. He is the king, so it's always good to talk to him. And
He's very involved as well.
Yeah, he's very close to the management system, which is awesome because the dude is a genius for sure.
Fishy guy.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have a great day. I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem, Captain Justin Moore. Thanks for calling in this morning as you get ready for your charter there. Very fishy guy down there. And Captain Justin is very involved in state management, FWC, all that good stuff. And his father, Scott Moore, obviously is very involved as well. So pretty cool. We got a chance to talk to him. And I think we got time here, Ron, for a quick freshwater fishing report. What's going on, Ron, from Ron's Tackle Box? How are
We're
you?
doing good out here. We need that weather to break a little more. We had a good span there about a week, and then it got hot again.
Yeah,
But,
catching them up.
Speckled perch are in the grass, probably all the way from now through the end of February, so a good time to come out. You'll find a lot of it. The northerns call them crappies. Plenty of them in the grass lines, and most of them are deeper, but there's plenty in the grass lines. You can fish the shorelines, the fishing piers. It's just great.
Nice. How about the bass bite?
Nice size. Bass bite's real good. Nothing real big right now, but there won't be long to be staging when that water cools down, to be staging for spawn, and that's coming up soon. We're going to see a great season of fishing because we've had plenty of water this year, and that makes the fish thrive, plenty of food in the water.
Nice.
So it's been really good. Great bluegill fishing. Excellent.
Is the water
And I was
moving
gonna
around?
mention, yes.
Nice.
I was going to mention, Captain Hubbard, that I've been in business for 45 years, and I've heard nothing but great things about you guys and your charters.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, man.
I'm serious. I mean, never heard anything negative. People get excited. They tell me, I'm going to go out in Hubbard's. Oh, wonderful, and they can't get enough of it. So you guys are doing the right stuff.
I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you.
Well, thanks for calling in this morning, Ron, our freshwater guru there over at Ron's Tackle Box. How do you go visit Ron's Tackle Box? Where are you guys located?
Well, you come out here to Polk County. I'm 380 South Lake Shore Way, which is 1792 in Lake Alfred. Phone number 863-956-4990. There's 554 lakes in Polk County. Plenty of room.
Well, we appreciate you calling in every week and giving us that freshwater report. Hopefully you catch them up this week, and hopefully that bass bite continues to improve. They catch some big ones over there. It's crazy. Yeah, nuts. But on the other side, guys, we're going to be talking more about this fishery management stuff. If you want to join the conversation, give us a call, 1-800-969-9352. News Radio WFLA Real Animals Radio Show. We'll be right back.
Hi.
On the last break, we had that great conversation, and I forgot to hit the right button, so they heard none of that.
Nothing. Do I have to hit a button, or
No,
will they hear me?
no. I've got a lot of buttons over here, and I don't always
we're
hit.
amusing. It's just that you don't know.
We promised we had a good conversation about the Something's Fishy tool, which is the way the council collects fishery information from fishermen. Like this gag grouper process is a great way to get your voice heard through the Something's Fishy tool.
I pulled up the result of that tool when the gentleman called about gag grouper, and it's interesting because from what I'm hearing from anglers through that tool, and let's see, I wonder how many respondents I got. So I got 468 responses to that tool.
Whoa, that's a lot.
That was a good one. And under half of the people that responded expressed like positive sentiment or positive thoughts about the gag stock.
Wow.
And so, people don't usually volunteer bad information, right? Especially if they think
Especially to
you're
the
going to take this
federal
and run with
fishery.
it, then I agree with you, right? And so this was one of those cases where, those people were really saying like, hey, there's something going on.
Yeah.
At least half of the people were expressing that.
Yeah, I think I think all fisheries are very cyclical, but grouper especially. And we saw that with red grouper. Kind of what Emily was getting to is the sentiment was something was going on with red grouper. The fishery was down. A lot of commercial anglers were like, hey, red grouper fishing's not good. 4 or 5 years ago, they were really screaming for management changes on red grouper. Ball moved slowly, started cutting down catch levels on red grouper. They ordered annual interim analysis, like Emily mentioned, trying to keep a thumb on the pulse of red grouper. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they got the catch level restricted, boom.
Here we go. The stock is growing back, and
Yeah.
now we're lagging on that one.
Yeah, and so red grouper rebounded very quickly, and now there's a lot of red grouper out there. Fishery is super healthy, and now management's trying to catch back up and increasing catch levels. So
And that's why we have these quota closures, right? Because as a stock rebuilds, if our catch limits are still sort of lower, fish are easier to catch than they have been, then we reach that quota quicker. Right?
yeah, so the quota filled up quick. We had a seasonal closure, which stinks in the short term, but in the long run and the global view, it's actually a positive sign that the fishery's rebounded. It's healthy.
That happens all the time with
Mm-hmm.
these shorts. It happened with gray triggerfish. It happened with amberjack. I mean, there's sort of
Happens
this
with red
unfortunate
snapper
lag.
every year.
Yeah, forever. The good news, that council process does take a while, but it's because we put so much time into making sure that the fisherman perspective and the public is infused in the process. So it's kind of a catch-22, right? Like, probably do things faster if it was just a bunch of nerds behind a computer making decisions, but those decisions wouldn't be as reflective of what the fishery is up to.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's definitely me not involved 4 or 5 years ago. I was very tinfoil hat wearing.
What?
Yeah, believe it or not, and also very suspicious of how these stock assessment processes worked and who's in charge of this and where do they do this, and it's all behind closed doors, and then they just come out and say a fishery's unhealthy, and
It couldn't be further from the truth. Everything's
Exactly.
so out in the open.
it's almost too transparent because then it takes a while.
Yeah, because we have to notice everything.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing is we have to give 30 days notice.
Yeah, we're back.
Oh.
Hubbard.
News Radio WFLA Real Animals Radio Show brought to you by Bartow Ford. Captain Dylan Hubbard this morning, not Captain Mike Anderson, unfortunately. We miss him. but he'll be back next week. Don't forget your mic, Emily.
I keep feeling like I should impersonate him because it's introducing me as him.
No, you definitely.
I'm not going to do it.
You definitely couldn't pull that off.
No, he's
a
way
very
cooler.
large man.
And much cooler.
I definitely couldn't pull that off either. He's got a unique voice, but that's why we love him. And he'll be back next week. And I'm sure we'll talk about Waffle House again. For those of you, I just want to put on the record that, Captain Rob behind the glass here can attest that Mike hasn't been here for 2 weeks and Waffle House has not come up. So this was not me bringing up the food thing. Might have been my partner in crime there, Mike, right,
Listen,
Rob?
it was bad enough that when I actually took 2 weeks off for vacation, I had to talk to John Momola, and he was like, do I need to be caught up on anything? I'm like, listen, there's this thing about Waffle House and the fact that we don't like it for some reason. He does. I don't know what your opinion is.
Emily, do you like Waffle House, yes or no?
It's not a yes or no. It's not a yes or no answer.
Oh, I like. Where are you going with this?
Between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m., I love Waffle House.
Like a true American.
Yeah, but like on a regular day, heck no.
Yeah, keep driving.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
If you're blacked out drunk, Waffle House is great.
I feel like my experience would be so much better if I went there before the show, and then I just kind of just strolled in here after like not sleeping at night, just being like, let me tell you a little bit about this Waffle House.
Yeah, but after the show, I'm going to drive past Waffle House.
Game changer.
And Mike's not here to defend his beloved Waffle House, so it is what it is. But we're talking about fisheries. And by the way, Captain Rob behind the glass, that's the voice you're going to hear if you give us a call and want to join the conversation at 1-800-969-9352. He's the man with the plan and the one who actually is in charge of pressing all the buttons because we've already experienced this morning. I'm not very good at it. So I've only got like 3 over here. He's got like 1 million in his side of the glass. So.
I have 1 and I just failed. So if that says anything about my radio ability.
She's much better at her real job, guys. Her real job she's really good at. But as we were talking about the gag grouper and the stock assessment process, it's definitely going to kind of come to a head. I'm surprised to hear that we're going to get a report at the October council meeting. Typically, the stock assessment reports go through the SSC, or did the Science and Statistical Committee, or SSC, did they already review it?
Hold on, let me
double
spot. Check myself and make sure. Now you're making me question myself.
I'm the type of guy that's just going to answer what I think.
Sometimes
and
Dylan
say,
seems
this
to
is
know.
my opinion.
Oh man,
but
I can't do that.
Emily is not the type. She has to look it up and Google it as she answers you.
Well, listen, I am that type in my everyday life, but in my let's talk about fisheries management and you're going to hold me to it, then I'm going to have to look it up because we are looking at it. So it looks like during Reef Fish Committee at our next meeting, we are going to be hearing a report of the stock assessment, which we're calling CDAR 72 on gag grouper.
And CDAR 72. CDAR is the process through which these stock assessments happen. And it's basically a fancy term for pulling together a bunch of scientists and academia to review these stock assessments. And the stock assessment process is, as we said, transparent. You can get involved. One of the coolest things that I did through my 4 or 5 years getting involved in federal fisheries was attending the data workshop for the red grouper stock assessment. And I was attending the red snapper data workshop before it got canceled this year, or not canceled, but postponed. And the data workshop is basically where all the scientists come together with their studies and say, this is what I think, and this is what I have found, and this is the data I want to input into the stock assessment. And then fishermen have a chance to kind of say, well, that's not really what we're seeing on the water. This is what we're seeing on the water. So pretty cool process.
It is. And it's really cool that it is as open as it is. And actually, you, as a fisherman, if you attend that process, you have the opportunity to actually speak up and say,
oh, yeah,
hey, I see what you guys are seeing, but this is what I'm seeing. And
exactly.
After the break, can we talk about that Something's Fishy tool, which is a way to get involved on a level that's not Dylan Hubbard level?
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to spend your days listening to online meetings.
Yes, definitely. The Something's Fishy tool is super important. We will talk about that for sure in the second hour. Give us a call, 1-800-969-9352. News Radio WFLA, Real Animals Radio Show. We'll be back.
Daddy, please let me ride down
WFLA Tampa.
Something valuable to
Yeah, and
Maybe
that's
we'll get new names.
And that's the thing is, it's funny doing the radio show because a lot of times we have these great conversations on the radio, and then we come up on a break and we have to end that conversation, and then we'll have a different, really good conversation going on the Facebook feed, and then get back on the radio, and that conversation ends. It's very difficult to have a seamless one going. But you're right, the Something's Fishy tool is something that got cut off here because I hit the wrong button, so we should definitely cover it on the radio.
I agree.
Yeah, good point, good point.
All right. I'm manufacturing a human, so I'm going potty.
Yes, got you. At least you know where it is. I'm going to stand up and stretch, so we'll be right back, guys, at typically about 4 minutes here before we get started again. So we are going to take a short break from our Facebook Live, and we'll be back in about 4 minutes.
with no coding or design experience.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a Dusky.
And they're like 25 foot, 27 foot.
Yeah. It looks a lot like a Dusky.
Yeah, I could have a little air conditioned area for my grandma
For the babies.
and the kids, and yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to take my son out of school and take him fishing. He's August 25th, so he's 2 years and how many months?
Not just a couple.
I don't know. Listen, we've got a warning before our show.
Oh yeah, I heard that this morning.
That's how you know it's a good show.
You got to play it on an hour.
Welcome to the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show, your weekly voyage into Florida fishing. Presented by Hubbard's Marina, hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
News Radio WFLA Real Animals Radio Show brought to you by Bartow Ford. This morning it is just Captain Dylan Hubbard. Sorry guys, Cap Mike is gone for the day, but he'll be back next week. And he'll be back in the driver's seat, and I can finally sit back and relax over where my friend Emily Muehlstein is sitting. And she is the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council Public Information Officer. And we got some cool stuff to talk about the council's Something Fishy tool. But first, we've got our friend Jim Fogel from the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Look, Jim, I learned. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Captain Dylan. Hey, Miss Emily. How are you guys?
Great.
Doing well, man. How about you?
Good. Listen, yeah, we got 3 new boating laws. Don't get too excited.
I'm always excited about new regulations.
All right. One of them is a law establishing a temporary slow zone within 300 feet of an emergency vessel with its emergency vessel lights on. That means fire rescue, Coast Guard, FWC.
So wait a minute. We had to make a regulation about just common courtesy. That's what's happening.
Afraid so. Same as just like the highway.
Wow.
Just like the highway.
Yeah, this is the move over a lane while you're driving rule for the water. Okay,
Yeah.
I can't believe that has to be a rule, but I get it.
It's crazy.
Afraid so. Oh yeah. If you'd seen some come around our island here, you'd understand. But yeah, So anybody that cannot stay 300 feet away must get down to a slow speed, meaning, of course, off plane and making way with minimal wake. Okay, that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, there's a temporary slow zone within 300 feet of a construction vessel like a barge or a tug engaged in construction, and it has an orange flag up. The flag's should be 2 by 3. And it's pretty much the same rules as the one around emergency vessels, but it's for construction barges and things like that.
Crazy. Another common courtesy.
The third one is a person may only operate a human-powered vessel
like a kayak
within the boundaries of a marked channel in the ICW under certain conditions. So in other words, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Basically, it's saying paddlers, you got to stay out of the ICW.
Again, common courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless you're crossing it, or it's the only way to get from point A to point B. And if there's any side channels, you need to get on it.
So you don't want me sunbathing on my paddleboard in the middle of the channel is what you're telling me.
We may enjoy it, but it's not allowed anymore.
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
Yeah. Laws of gross
I'm trying to
tonnage.
be objective here, Emily. I'm just trying to be objective.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. So anyway, we got 3 new laws. I'll probably talk about them again tomorrow. I think we need to
Mahoney should hear those.
Give it out as much as possible. Anyway, you guys keep up the show. Good job, Captain Dillard, Coast Guard Auxiliary in St. Pete, Jim Fogel. Be safe out there.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you, as always, giving us that safe boating tip of the week. It is crazy to me that is having to be made regulation.
Don't wake people while they're trying to do their job is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I said it before, and I'll say it again. When I was coming up, and I wanted a boat. I said, Dad, I want to buy a boat. He's like, well, you better get a job, son. And I did. And eventually, a year and a half later, was able to buy a boat. And one of the biggest things he always hammered into me when I was 7, 8, 9 years old coming up on the boat was you're responsible for your wake. Yeah. And people to this day, grown men, grown women, don't understand that. You got to be mindful of what's around you.
So, and just to play the other side of that coin, right? I didn't grow up on Pinellas County with like a boating family, and I bought my first boat after I graduated from college, and it was a 17-foot Key West.
Nice.
And I lived in Venice, Florida, and I was just like, I know this is what I want to do, but I didn't have anybody to like lead me that. Like, I didn't have my dad over my shoulder, like, don't be a jerk. And I didn't realize that. So I bet thinking back, I probably did some bad things. I had to kind of learn my way.
Well, that's what's cool is programs like the Coast Guard Auxiliary, the Power Squadron, they have those safe boating classes. And now it's actually a rule. If you're born after 88, I believe, is, again, that's my belief. I'm not 100% on that, but if you're born after a certain year, you have to have a safe boating license. And when I was a kid, that wasn't a thing, but my dad made me get one anyway. And it was actually really interesting because they taught you a lot. Basically, everything from that course was also on the captain's test.
Yeah, okay.
15 years later when I took my six-pack license
I
course.
have my captain's license now, but, I never took the safe boating course.
Oh, it's captain, Emily.
It is, yeah.
Oh, we got a room full of captains. We got Captain Rob, Captain Emily.
I never technically use it, so I haven't I haven't claimed the title, but yeah.
You passed the course.
I did.
You've got an MMC.
I did.
That makes you a captain.
I had big dreams before I got this desk job of mine.
So on that note, speaking of your desk job, the Something's Fishy tool. So I am the chair of the Outreach and Education Technical Committee for the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, and a big part of what we do there, and Emily is the council liaison for that committee, and a big part of what we do there is trying to outreach and educate. And the Something's Fishy tool is, I think, the coolest recent kind of push by the council, and I'll let you speak to it since you're the expert. It's your baby.
Yeah, it is my baby, and I love it. And don't get so used to that name, the Something's Fishy tool.
Because she's renaming her baby.
We're going to rename my baby, and it's because Dylan suggested that we do it. I think, so let me just tell you about the tool first, and then we'll go into the nitty-gritty. So what it is it's basically an opportunity that every time NOAA Fisheries or FWC is performing a stock assessment on a species that we manage, we go ahead and ask fishermen and divers and folks on the water what they're seeing with that stock. And I think we've already talked a little bit this morning about how sometimes the data and the management kind of lags behind. And so this is a way for us to really infuse fishermen's current perceptions of the fish stock and its health into the process as well as we can. Because a lot of times, and we didn't say this, those stock assessments, they have what's called a terminal year of data. So they don't include like this year if they're doing a stock assessment. Like if they're doing a stock assessment that's completed this year, the terminal year of data might be 2018, right? And so this tool, like in recognizing that that's a thing, that's a kind of a bummer, this tool is an opportunity to fishermen to say, here is what's happening right now. And one of those things that we do with that tool is we bring it to the stock assessment scientists while they're performing the assessment. And that's really important because in those assessments, they perform what's called projections. And they kind of have to make decisions about what harvest levels should be now based on what the trends are that they're seeing from the data, right? And so we give it to those stock assessment scientists. The on-the-water now perspective gets infused into that process. And then we also present it to our scientific and statistical committee who makes those actual harvest recommendations, and then to our council while they're making decisions about the management measures for the stock as well. So that's the fisherman's best opportunity to sort of say, here's what's happening with the fish.
And that is something that the council Emily puts out through the council Facebook page. And it's something that you can just open up and it's a Google form. You just enter a little bit of information, and you can be totally anonymous, or you can give all your information and hit a button or a checkbox that says, I don't mind if you contact me, because sometimes they do contact you if you say something that's unique and out of the realm. A lot of times they'll follow up with you to get more information if you so choose, or you could leave that box unchecked and just give your opinion. And this is a great way for you to get involved in fisheries science and management without really doing much other than going on to social media and finding that link. And so often when a stock assessment's going on and you'll post about it, or anybody talks about it, or I do a seminar and I mention it, people are so quick to leave their feedback on Facebook. And it's like, dude,
Go
and
to the link.
You'll even post the link and
Yeah.
say, this is what we're trying to get. We're trying to get information on this species. And people will leave huge diatribes in the comments on the post, but they won't click the link. It's like, come on. To me, it's like voting for the president. If you don't vote for the president, you don't have a say, and you don't get to complain because you didn't get involved in the process.
And there are plenty of opportunities to get involved for sure. But so the name of the tool, right? So something's fishy. Dylan brought up that it might imply, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the Golf Council sometimes doesn't always have the greatest public image. So it might imply that we're looking for negative information, and we're not. And so actually, if you look on our Facebook page right now, we're looking at renaming that tool. So if you have anything clever, you can go and actually fill out the Something's Fishy tool.
And don't forget to read the comments.
For a new name. But read the comments on the Facebook page. You know, nobody comes to Facebook, it turns out, to tell me what a good job the council's doing.
I don't think people come to Facebook in a positive light very much at all. I mean, I'm finding it more and more. Is I literally was posting a notice about, hey, there's a cobia meeting tonight, and just got brutalized about, oh, this is stupid. It would be at Hubbard's Marina. And it's like, well, literally the second word of the post was the meeting's at City Hall, not at Hubbard's
Madeira
Marina.
Beach City Hall, yeah.
Yeah, so it's comical, the jump to negativity, where this is all about the Something's Fishy tool is all about getting information from fishermen. And Emily is right. At every step, at every meeting, she presents that information again and again and again through the process. So it really gives fishermen a chance to have their voice heard and remind the process.
So this is a really good segue to talk about that recent cobia meeting.
Mhm.
We held it in Madeira Beach.
One person showed up.
One person, Captain Steve Pappen, who you already talked to because he does that cooperative research with GAG. So we had one person come to that public hearing. And so
epic.
So I do have to qualify that with like, hey, I'm really bummed out because like Dylan said, like you need to get involved in the process because we really do take your advice to heart.
Now, real quick, someone is at home right now. Well, I didn't know about that meeting. Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. Google it on their homepage. Emily works really hard to keep the council calendar up to date. And that's where all your meetings are noticed 30 days. That's federal law.
Yes, it's federal law. So they're on our website. They're on our Facebook feed. We always do that. And we also have if you really want to, get information, you can sign up to get our press releases. And you can actually sign up for, if you like reef fish, if you're into the coastal migratories, if you like, lobster. So you can select what kind of news you get to your inbox as well. But you can definitely join that and then you'll know about it.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was
or
kind of a bummer.
you could be like me and just stalk Emily at work.
You could. Yeah.
What's your work phone number again if people have questions?
So the best way to get a hold of me is by calling 813-348-1630, and you're going to hit 2. It's going to ask you if you have fisheries-related questions, and if by hitting 2, you get forwarded to my cell phone. So you could catch me any time of day that you want.
That's good information.
So yeah, if just hit that button and you'll get me. So again,
and we'll put that phone number in the Facebook feed too, guys, if you miss it. So we will talk more about this on the other side, guys. News Radio, WFLA, Real Animals Radio Show. We'll be back. No worries. And let's put your phone number in the Facebook feed, your work number. What is that?
It is 813 348 1630.
1630.
I think we should at some point mention the fact that like the council is headquartered and CIRO is here, and like we really are the epicenter for fisheries management. And so this is if you have some inkling to get involved, like your excuse is much less valid than somebody that lives in Texas.
Those Texas fishermen. I was on my Sunday Night Live show. Like I mentioned, I enjoy Jameson whiskey the whole time. So at the end of the show, someone said something about, we were talking about lane snapper or something, and I was saying how the council can be very focused on red snapper and these other kind of Gulf-wide fisheries, and things like lane snapper, red grouper can sometimes take a little bit of a back seat since it's very Florida-centric. And I was like, well, that's not really cool of the council because of all these part-time fishermen in the other parts of the Gulf.
Yeah.
Because someone had asked about going fishing in January. Are you open in January? And my counterpart on the show was like, of course we're open in January. We're open all year. And I was like, no. Up in the northern Gulf and in Texas, they shut down. They don't fish year-round.
The coolest part of my job is that I've been able to travel like the whole jurisdiction, right?
Mhm.
Texas, Mexico border, Key West, and fish everywhere. And the diversity of the Gulf, like,
So awesome.
dude, and
That's
I'm
the
sorry,
coolest
but,
part
like,
about the council program.
I am so happy that I live here.
Yeah.
Because Texas, like, you're going to catch a lot of fish and you're going to catch big fish. You're going to catch 3 species.
Yeah.
You're catching red snapper, amberjack, or triggerfish.
It's like going freshwater fishing.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
Lame.
Like, I love fishing here. We brought our that release mortality workshop on your boat.
Yeah.
And there were fishery scientists from Alabama that were like, "What is this?" And they were catching like a sand perch, and it was
Yeah.
like the coolest thing ever. You know, like
Yeah.
because they'd never see or a lizard fish. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. Other parts of the Gulf definitely have their strong suits, and there's beautiful areas and all that good stuff. But we live in the mecca of offshore fishing, and really the mecca of fisheries management and science.
yeah, and gosh, that species diversity is insane.
Yeah.
Here and south of here.
But I was making these jokes in jest, and Jim Green got involved. Yeah. So it was actually Gary Bryant, captain from Alabama, who was watching the show and ratted me out to Jim Green
And Jim
and the
couldn't
rest
keep
of the
his mouth
board.
closed. I love that man.
Yeah, too funny.
awesome.
Yeah, that's a good part about the council process for me, is meeting fishermen from other parts of the Gulf and learning that biodiversity in the Gulf of Mexico and just regional differences. And that's what's so cool about fishing in general is you can be a master angler in Tampa Bay and near shore and offshore, and you can go 2 hours to the east to Cocoa Beach, and it's totally different.
Well, and so that's one of the biggest challenges about the council image too, right? Like, because we have captains from all over the Gulf and they're all just as valid as the people that are right here, you know, you might say that the council never makes decisions, you know, that benefit you. Well, it's because there's captains up in some other part of the Gulf that have a completely different experience that are asking for something different than what you. So you need to come advocate for yourself.
Yeah, and that's the problem with our area, is these other areas are very heavily represented at the council.
Panhandle of Florida, dude, those guys have it locked down.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like a syndicate. Destin Charter Boat Association, Panama City Boatmen's
the Galveston,
Association,
the folks over in Galveston,
Galveston
Texas,
Professional
they
Boatmen
are,
Association.
Dude, they are killing it when it comes to
All of
influencing
Alabama
management.
and all of Louisiana have charter boat associations statewide, and CCA is very strong for private recreational anglers, but the whole west peninsular coast of Florida does not have a strong association or presence. There's literally like maybe three
There's
or
a
four
very
of
strong
us.
commercial presence here,
Yeah.
but that's not recreational.
Yeah.
We have arguably one of the most active commercial fisheries.
And we have arguably the most recreational fishermen and landings and the least amount of fishermen involved in the process.
So help me out, guys. I don't know how to get you involved, but help me out.
Mm-hmm. We're trying.
Yeah.
More radio shows.
Show presented by Hubbard's Marina. Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
News Radio WFLA Real Animals Radio Show brought to you by Bartow Ford. It is Captain Dylan Hubbard this morning, and we've got Emily Muehlstein in studio this morning talking fishing. And definitely, as I mentioned, got some cooler weather ahead, but fishing is going really well. I hear it's some of the best red fishing that we've had in a long time in the bay. The snook bite's going pretty well. Snook, trout, redfish just reopened for harvest. Near shore, we got kingfish and mackerel. Hogfish heating up. definitely a lot of stuff going on. So good time to get out there on the water in between these cold fronts. But before we get back into our conversation, Emily, we do have a caller. And keep in mind, if you want to call into the show, you can give us a shout at 1-800-969-9352. Our good friend behind the glass, Captain Rob, will get you set up to join the show. But we've got Glenn from Brandon, and Glenn has a new name for Emily. So I'm interested to hear about this one.
Good morning, Dylan, Emily.
Good morning.
Why don't you just name it FISH?
Ah, there you go.
And what does that stand for?
Well, you could have it three ways. Fishing, fisherman, or fisherwoman, women. Information submitted here, FISH.
I like
That's
that.
actually really good. I like your idea.
Well, it's just an idea to give to her, instead of fishery.
There you
All
go.
right, Glenn, I'm going to
like
submit
that
that one
name.
on your behalf. Or
The fish tool.
if you want to be in our contest to receive a gift pack of Golf Council things like a big old Tervis and a
I'm sorry.
everybody
I think it is.
I know Golf Council branded stuff. You can go and find our tool and you can submit that yourself so that I can track you
Well,
down.
the thing of it is, I haven't fished, probably for 50-some years.
Oh, no.
But you're
Retired military and everything else all around the world and all that, but
well. Appreciate your service.
no, I haven't really had the time. Now I'm retired, and I should go back to work because everybody wants me to do something for them.
Well, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.
I know you're too busy.
And now you're
I
not
listen to
busy.
you guys all the time.
I appreciate you calling in and giving us that great suggestion, Glenn. Thank you.
Well, it's easy to remember.
There you
I
go.
agree. Thank you. That's awesome.
All right, Glenn.
All right,
thanks for
bye-bye.
giving us a shout this morning. Definitely a good idea there. You never know. Yeah, I think that's the best one I've heard.
I love it.
The
Well,
fish tool.
yeah. I love that you don't want a bunch of Golf Council branded stuff there, Dylan.
I never said that. You're inferring.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I don't mean to make any assumptions there.
Yeah, you know what happens when you assume, Emily.
I do.
I just thought it was funny. I could just see it now, walking down the dock with my Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council Tervis. That would be a great winner on the docks, I'm sure.
That's a prestigious thing, man.
Yeah, Mike Mahoney is on the Real Animals Facebook feed, and he said he got a prize pack from the Golf Council. I think that's why Butler and Boyd is a sponsor of his Sunday morning show from one of his prize packs, probably.
Lord.
Oh, man. But as we were talking about, we do have that Something's Fishy tool as a way to get involved, but there's a lot of other ways to get involved too by just simply paying attention to that calendar on the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council website and staying tuned to what's coming up as far as meetings are concerned.
You know, the other thing that I think I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is if you go onto our webpage and it's golfcouncil.org, there is a button at the bottom left-hand side that just says submit general fishery comments. And, you know, one of the things that we really rely on heavily from the public is to bring up fishery issues.
Mhm.
And, you know, unless the council knows that, like, there's a regulation that's not working or something's going on, they can't address the issue. And one of the ways that you can do that
And
is
it's
by
for positive
submitting
information too.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
But one of the things that you can do is submit general fisheries comments. So if you go on there and you look at like the things that we're working on and your comment just doesn't fit with any of our current amendments, you can submit general fisheries comment. And that's one of the ways that we figure out like how to address the issues. So one that I can think of recently is Dylan, you know, really spearheaded. He found out that in the regulations, the way that he's been running his multi-day trips, the bag limit wasn't working out. And so he initiated action from the council to change that problem just by bringing it up.
Yep.
And so if there's something you don't like and we're not dealing with it already, let us know.
Yep, bring it up. It took 2 council meetings to get that one fixed. And that was definitely something that opened my eyes to the process. You can be effective. You can change federal regulations. You just got to get involved. Got to show up.
Indeed.
All right. Real Animals Radio Show on News Radio WFLA. We'll be right back to talk more fishing on the other side.
Just you wait and see.
news, traffic, and weather. Top and bottom of every hour.
News Radio WFLA, an iHeart radio station.
Florida health regulators are asking lawmakers for nearly $13 million for the office that oversees medical marijuana issues for the state. According to documents submitted to the legislature, health officials want $4 million for state education and prevention campaign and additional funds to open 3 regional offices. The man accused in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School mass shooting is going to plead guilty.
We need to talk about, I had something that I wanted to talk about. Oh, return them right. The barotrauma mitigation, discard mortality mitigation. Return them right
Yeah, and actually, we're about to have a workshop.
with the return them right people.
Yeah, to actually develop a suite of best practices that's
Oh,
informed
our
by both
O&E
science.
workshop.
No,
Oh.
well, it's sort of an
Oh, the
addition
December
to,
1st one. I got invited to that.
Yeah. Of course you did.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, but I think the idea is that they're going to develop a manual.
That's going to be December 1st and 2nd in St. Pete, and that'll be open to the public, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be at USF actually, but USF St. Pete.
Oh, nice.
They have a big
Right in St.
ballroom.
Pete. Long travel for me.
Yeah. What,
That's
do you
cool.
cut across the Gandy here? Or do you still?
Cross the Gandy. Yeah. I live right off Park Boulevard, so
Oh, okay.
pretty straight shot.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think I take 3 turns to get here. It's pretty crazy.
What's your daughter's name?
Emma. Emma, and then Jack is my son.
I knew Jack.
Yeah.
The second ones, they fall by the wayside.
Yeah, it's funny
How old is she now?
She was born July.
Oh, she's still a
14th.
tiny newbie.
Yeah, she's still a little nugget.
Does she have a little regular? Is she sleeping like a normal person or doing?
Starting to get there, starting to sleep better, and she holds her neck up. It's amazing how much more advanced girls are over boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I think
I've
with
always
the second
heard that.
one too, because they have like
A brother to learn, or a sibling to learn
Yeah.
from. But I've always heard that too, like in the baby classes that we did in baby books, is like girls that, like, for example, walking, talking,
they do it all faster.
potty training, everything in the baby books are like, oh, 2 to 3 months earlier, girls will do this. And it's like, what? But now I'm
true.
seeing it firsthand.
Huh.
I mean, she started holding her neck up. I feel like she was less than 3 months old.
That's crazy.
My son was spongy noodle neck until he was like 5 months. It was crazy.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting. Can I answer that?
Yeah. But now my son's a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Little dude is so strong. He can grab the edge of the granite countertop and do a pull-up and grab whatever he wants on the counter. It's scary. It's like, your father never was able to do a pull-up. Where did you get this
Where
from?
did this come from? Your mother's side.
Yeah, he's an animal.
We're not figuring out gender.
Oh, you aren't?
No,
I was going to ask
we
you
didn't
that.
do that with Ren either.
When you were talking about it earlier, I was like, did I ask her what she's having?
I don't want to set us up for like disappointment, right? Ren wants a sister, Randy wants a boy because
Yeah.
he's got a girl.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like part of me is like, well, I already had a girl. I know how to do that,
Mhm.
And I've got all the girl stuff.
Yeah.
But
That's how I was with my second child. I was like, girl seems kind of scary. I
yeah,
got guys
that's how I
figured
felt.
out.
But Emily probably wanted a girl.
And I kind of wanted a girl too. Like, it'd be nice to have a girl and a boy. But I was like, in the back of my mind is like, if it was another boy, I wasn't going to be upset because then
Right.
it's easy.
That's where I'm at.
Um,
That's why we're not like, who cares? I don't really care. And plus, I don't know if it's going to be a serial killer anyway. So like, what does it matter what the genitalia looks like?
and it's 2021.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, the girls scare me, man. I had 3 sisters growing up, so I know what they put my father through, and me as a brother. Just like, I don't know if I can handle that. My heart is hurting right now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It used to really make me mad because we didn't find out gender with her either, and everybody was like, "Oh, I hope you have a boy so it can help with the boat." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?
Girls
Like,
do that too.
Who are you talking to right now? Like, I'm the one in the family with a captain's license. Like, I run the boat as much as my husband does. I actually sold my boat when we got together because I liked his bet. Like, it used to make me so mad. Like, if you wanted to like trigger me, tell me that we should have a boy so he can be helpful with the boat.
You should see her face right now. She's very serious.
I mean, I do understand the norm.
You should have a boy because he'll like to fish. It's like, what?
Oh my, what? Yeah, right.
No, people said that about my daughter too. Too bad you didn't have another boy. You'd have a whole fishing team. I was like, my daughter can be on the fishing team too, bud.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? She might like fishing more.
Yeah, who knows? I could have a little boy that wants to do ballet.
I mean, there's a Williams party boat fleet in Texas.
Yes. Johnny
Sarah.
Williams, his daughter.
Sarah, right?
No, Jillian runs the boat.
Jillian.
Yep.
So, yeah, Johnny Williams, the Williams party boat fleet in Galveston, Texas. His daughter, Jillian, is a captain of one of the party boats.
Yep.
And her
And she's very
husband,
cool.
Cody, super cool. Husband, Cody, is a true cowboy. Love that guy. And they run party boats together, husband and wife team.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, one takes one party boat, the other takes the other. Yeah,
And
it's pretty cool.
They have a battle all day long to see who's doing better.
No, they fish two separate fisheries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so one will do the long range, one will stay at the jetties. So they don't compete, thankfully. Probably wouldn't lend itself to a good relationship.
Marina. Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
News Radio 970 WFLA, Real Animals Radio Show by Bartow Ford. It's Captain Dylan Hubbard this morning with our friend Emily Muhlstein from the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, talking fishing and all things fisheries related. You can join us by calling in at 1-800-969-9352, and Captain Rob, the man with the plan on the other side of the glass, will get you set up. But until we have another caller to join this conversation, one thing I did want to chat with you about, Emily, is the new Return 'em Right program. And we'd be remiss to not talk about that, because that's kind of our program, I guess you could say.
It's in our wheelhouse.
From our Outreach and Education Technical Committee. And that is a program funded by NERDA money, I believe.
Yes, that's all money from restoration funds from the oil spill in 2010.
Yep, so BP is funding this program, essentially $30 million. And that money is a big part of this was Phil Disco from the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. He's a council member who's kind of charged with leading the outreach and education drive, if you will. And Phil was instrumental in getting this all set up with Emily, and now through the committee made up of people from all over fisheries science and management and fishermen like myself. And Eric Weather from FWRI is my vice chair on that committee. And he was on the radio show a couple weeks ago talking fisheries science. So it's a really cool program, Return 'em Right. And basically it's all about barotrauma and barotrauma mitigation and discard mortality mitigation, because there's a lot of times you got to throw a fish back.
There is. And, just to sort of dial it all the way back, you guys might remember we used to have a venting tool requirement, and we removed that requirement. And we removed that requirement for two primary reasons. First, it turns out that people
don't know how to vent a
don't
fish.
properly vent fish sometimes, right? And that would, so this fish is already injured, and then you just like puncture another hole in the wrong place, right? So we figured out that was happening. But I think the major driver of getting rid of that venting tool requirement is to make way for these descending devices, which, if you're not familiar with, when you're offshore and your fish comes up and it's all bloated, it's got what's called barotrauma, because the gases expand as you bring it up from deep. It'll float away on the surface if you don't either, vent it properly and let it get back down, or they came up with these devices where you can actually hook the fish to something that will send it down to the bottom.
And a descending device can be as simple as a milk crate with dive weights attached to that leading edge of it, and a rope to the bottom of it. And
Or if you don't want something so bulky, an inverted hook with a weight properly placed can also do, with a barb crimped will do it as well.
Yeah, and you can make it out of heavy gauge wire at home. There's a lot of ways to make a cheap homemade descending device. And there's even videos. If you Google Fishing for Our Future Gulf Council, there's a whole website Emily and her team put together, and there's a lot of stuff about descending devices, how to make them, what they are, how they work. And for average Joe angler offshore, a descending device is definitely best because it's super easy to use. It's not going to, in most cases, you don't even have to puncture or injure the fish further. It just simply sends them back down to bottom. And you only got to send them down about a third of the way down. So if you're fishing in 100 foot, you only got to send them down about 35 feet or so. And that's plenty of depth for them to recompress and return to bottom. And you can vent fish, and I use venting more just because on a multi-passenger charter boat with a lot of people around and a high rate of catch, hopefully, it's easier to vent going down the deck than descending each fish.
You guys kind of give a clinic on the way out, right? So you can properly educate folks how to vent so they're not popping the stomach that's coming out of the mouth.
Never puncture what's coming out of the mouth of the fish. That is not venting. And if you go on a charter boat, I've heard this a lot during my live show that people are like, well, I was on a charter boat and the captain did it by just puncturing that thing coming out of his mouth. If you're on a charter boat with a captain who's puncturing the stomach coming out of the mouth of the fish, call me. And I will reach out to that captain and very politely and politically tell them that they should vent the fish properly and not puncture the stomach that protrudes the mouth.
Hopefully this Return 'em Right program is going to sort of solve some of that problem, right? So Return 'em Right is a $30 million sort of grant, I guess, that came from the oil spill. And there's the major goal is to get descending devices into all of our Gulf anglers' hands and to teach them how to properly use those.
Yeah.
So that program is already launched for captains, for charter captains in the Gulf. And then it'll be launching for private anglers next year. And so you'll be able to, you'll be able to sort of go on and do like a 10-minute education module, and then they'll send you up to $100 worth of descending devices.
Yeah, and so that's what I wanted to hit on is that $30 million is not one of those things where it's like, oh, let's spend a bunch of money trying to do commercials and stuff that's going to reach out to people. That's not what it's about. That $30 million, a majority of that fund is going to go towards procuring venting tools, descending devices, descending device gears, and really providing it to anglers at no cost, and possibly even dehookers too. Because in my opinion, venting and descending is important, but we went out fishing as a captain and crew team last week, Monday, and it was awesome. It was the first time in a while that our whole kind of captain and crew team got the opportunity to fish together for fun. And there was a big argument on deck multiple different times through the day as to should we vent, should we descend, or just get it back in the water quickly. And the overall sentiment, we all agree that if you get the fish up quickly, get them off the hook quickly, and get them back into the water quickly, almost 9 out of 10 times for most species, you're not going to really run into the problem where he floats off.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get a really big fish that you have to fight and takes a while to get up, or you have to take a million Instagram photos of it, or it's maybe a little difficult to dehook and it sits on deck for a second, that's when barotrauma significantly increases, and it's even more important to use a descending device or venting tool.
And that's one of the challenges, right? I don't think the intention is for us to tell anybody to descend every fish, and really
definitely don't.
In order to make sure that you increase survivability of fish when you release them, you have to be able to like make some conscious decisions. And to that point, in early December in St. Pete, we're actually going to host a workshop, which is going to be a bunch of scientists who have done studies on the mortality of fish that are released. We've got a bunch of fishermen coming in from all over the Gulf, and they're actually going to try and sort of mock up a little bit of a best fishing or best release practices manual that will say, like, in the condition where it's 90 degrees out and there's 7 people on deck, don't put those fish in a line to descend them one by one. Like, that is not the thing. Like, you have to make decisions about, like, what is going to make this fish survive. And in some cases, descending is the gold standard. In some cases, it's not. Like you said, if you're in a multi-passenger boat and fish are just hitting the deck every second, like, it doesn't make sense to try and descend every fish.
Yeah. It's all about getting in the water as quick as possible. And in my opinion, the de-hooking device you're using is more important than anything. If you're still using needle nose pliers, throw them in the Gulf or in the trash can. Don't litter. Throw them in the trash can and get yourself a pair of de-hookers, because de-hooking tools make life so much easier. Fish falls right off the hook into the fish box or into the water, wherever you want it, and you can get that fish off the hook more quickly, more efficiently, and it really prevents that fish from having any sort of injuries. So often I'll see people using needle nose pliers, and they're trying to twist the hook out, and it causes damage to the fish.
I think people are a little bit nervous about figuring out how to use the de-hooking devices right.
There's some really good videos.
Once you do it,
videos.
once you figure it out, it's super cool. But like, as somebody, who learned fishing on my own, like that, they were very intimidating to me 15 years ago when I was like, what do you do with this thing? And then when you learn to flip it, you look way cooler than you did with the needle nose pliers shoved up in there, right?
So if you want to look cooler and take care of the fish
for my Instagram photos,
use a de-hooker.
And to that point, so if you guys are interested in signing up for these devices, and you should be, because there is a separate initiative by Congress called the Descend Act that's going to require that you have one of these devices on board next year, probably in the winter.
You might as well get one free.
You might as well get one free. And so if you're interested in that, go ahead and look on social media, look on the website. You can sign up to get all their notifications. The program is called Return Right, EM. So it's like apostrophe EM.
ReturnEmRight.org. And the big thing for me is I want to try to change a culture. I mean, so often what really frustrates me is you get a guy inshore that catches a trout and he's going to wet his hands first. And before he takes it out of the water, he's going to take a deep breath and hold his breath to make sure that that trout is not out of the water any longer than he can hold his breath, because he wants to make sure that fish swims off super healthy. That same guy who wetted his hands and held his breath while the fish is out of the water will go offshore and take a photo of a red snapper during red snapper season showing off this big fish, and there's 6 dead red snapper floating on the surface behind him in the background of the photo because he culled through 10 fish to get that one big one he wanted to take an Instagram photo with. And it's like, dude, all those fish floating died.
And let me just remind you, even if like for the bleeding heart reason that you don't want to do this, when we manage fisheries, we manage to something called total removals. So when we get harvest rates, there's always this add-on of like an assumption of how many fish that you threw back to catch and keep those fish that you have. And so the idea that we can throw those fish back, we can reduce the amount of total removals, is going to let more fish live to spawn another day, to be caught another day. And that's, so even if it's not because you care about the fish's soul, do it so that you can catch that fish again when it's big enough, when it's in season.
And spawning is a good point. I mean, that fish going back in the water, yeah, it's just one fish. What does it matter? Well, that one fish could spawn out and have hundreds of thousands of eggs, millions of eggs, potentially, especially those bigger, larger red snapper that oftentimes come up all blowed up and hard to get back in the water. Like on that trip I was talking about, we caught one red snapper. I caught 2 of them that were probably pushing 20 pounds, and their eyes were bulged, their scales were bulged. They looked ugly, but got them up quickly, vented them, and I put them on a descending device because the descending device didn't have quite enough weight, which we fixed after the trip. But to send down a big red snapper, you need a lot of weight, like a 3-4 pound weight on your descending device. So I vented him so that way he needed less weight to send him down on that descending device. So super important to make sure you return him right. And also, you want to make sure that you are taking care of that fish, getting it off the hook quickly. And don't forget, while on the note of talking fishing, we've got our October 26th. We've got the Real Animals Fishing Conversation coming up at Furman, Newport Richey. That's at the corner of US 19 and State Road 54. Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Steve Benton are going to be talking all about fishing at that Real Animals Fishing Conversation from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And that's going to be virtual only from Furman, Newport Richey. Again, that's Tuesday, October 26th. I unfortunately will not be at that event. I will be over in Orange Beach, Alabama At a National Marine Fisheries meeting, Gulf Council meeting.
Yeah.
National Marine Fisheries
Different.
Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council meeting.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful.
National Marine Fisheries will be represented there, but they
Yes.
are one of the multiple people that will.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
corrects me.
yeah.
That's why I have her on the show, so she can keep me in line. Well, we will be right back. Real Animals Radio Show, News Radio WFLA.
When it comes to keeping the Real Animals team on the water, nobody does it better than
It's 2 hours isn't enough time. It really should be a 3-hour show. And my Sunday night show, I really would like to move it to 2 hours, but it's just difficult because it takes a lot of my time to prepare for that show, and then I want to try. I work all day Sunday.
Commercial breaks, though, right?
No, it's just an hour solid. But I want to have time with my family, so I work all day, and then I have a couple hours before I go to the studio, so I can't move it any earlier, and any later, you'd be live till 10:30. People got work the next day.
Yeah.
So it's just tough. But it's fun. I enjoy that show. And the after show is fun for our supporters group. It gets a little bit more...
A little bit better.
Yeah, because the main show is obviously the main show. Anybody can listen to it. Whereas the supporters group, it's only the supporters who are part of that private group.
Nice.
So
So it's like just a bro hang.
yeah. The main show is like PG, sometimes PG-13. The after show, it's anything goes.
Ay, Chihuahua.
Yeah, it's fun. We're not on the radio, so
you can
there's
do
not
and say whatever you
FCC
want.
rules.
You don't have a warning that says this show is not reflective of
they
the
know.
opinions.
They know. They are warned from prior experiences. Yeah, it's been fun.
Anything we need to wrap up with?
So on the other side, this break is somewhat long, so we don't have a lot of time because we don't necessarily end at 8 a.m. Sometimes it's a little earlier. So we will just do a basically like updating people on where we at with the weather and what's coming up fishing-wise this week. Okay. And then I'll give you a chance to give a shout-out to maybe upcoming meetings or just give out your phone number.
General get involved.
General get involved and maybe your email, because your phone number and your email. That way if people want to email you, and then
I'm going to give them the general because mine's hard to spell.
Yeah, it's like Gulf Council at
golfcouncil.org.
That's all it is, Gulf Council at golfcouncil.org. I knew it was something simple. You guys should have an info at golfcouncil.com.
I'm sure we do. I just don't know where it goes.
Yeah. That's what's cool about email hard boxes is you can create all those aliases.
Yeah. Every time we have a EFP or a,
you just create an alias. And they all go to you.
Yep.
That's funny. I missed my segment, didn't I? Son of a sailor.
Oh, you were on this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do the live one Friday morning, but then we record a segment, and then they play that segment through the morning, Saturday and Sunday. But I never know what they're going to do with it, so I always like seeing what they did with it, because I get questions about it. Because I write like a 4-page fishing report, and they a lot of times will just comb through it and pick out something they want to feature. And then I start getting phone calls and emails about it. I'm like,
oh, this is what we're zeroed in on today.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like, where did this come from?
That's awesome.
Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Now or forever hold your peace, man.
Nah, I don't have time. We're gonna be back any second. They're gonna make a Clifford movie. Have you seen this?
No.
I'm so pumped.
It kind of looks bad though. Like the CGI of
Yeah.
Clifford himself kind of stinks.
But
Okay.
Clifford growing up, that was an awesome show. PBS Kids.
Do you guys watch it still?
No.
It's a thing.
It's Clifford is?
It's on Amazon or something.
Huh. No, we've been watching Daniel Tiger.
I haven't watched
My son was super into Aquanauts, but then it kind of got played out for him.
Bubble Guppies is a good one for the littler ones too.
Try that one.
Presented by Hubbard's Marina. Now your captains, Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
I like that intro music. I was going to let it play for a second.
It's a little
Nice
Top Gun-ish
choice, Rob.
or something.
I think it's Phil Collins.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
you're probably right.
I don't know. Oh, it's Phil Collins. 100%. News Radio, WFLA, Real Animals Radio Show. Don't forget, if you need a new roof or roof repair, check out my friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. They understand that your roof is a large investment that protects most everything you own. Let Affordable Roofing Systems 3 decades of experience and roofing knowledge guide you through this important process. Whether you need a shingle, metal, tile, or flat roof, Affordable Roofing Systems is your safest choice for repairs or replacements. Affordable Roofing Systems is defined by integrity, respect, and honesty, and has a personalized and professional approach to doing business. Call Affordable Roofing Systems today at 888-397-ROOF for your free estimate, or visit their website at affordableroofingflorida.com. So, want to also give Emily a chance here on the last segment of the show to give out your information again and how to get involved, how to reach out to you if you have more questions. And Emily is a one-stop shop. Whenever I have a question about fisheries, fisheries science, fisheries management, anything fishing related, on the side of things I don't know, I call her, because if she doesn't know it herself, she'll know who knows,
Well,
and she'll be able to point you in the right direction.
I'm also really good at settling bets and arguments.
Very good.
Yeah, so I can
She's
connect
like a human Jeopardy phone a friend person.
Yeah, it's a good one. So anyways, I think what we tried to sort of talk about this morning is that the council process really does rely on public comment. And you guys are in the epicenter of fisheries management. I mean, we're here. We manage the entire Gulf. National Marine Fisheries Service is here. They manage the entire Southeast. So really, you don't have any excuse to not get involved.
And FWRI is here.
Oh, gosh, that's
They're
right. I
the
can't leave them
major
out.
science body of FWC. You have the chair of the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council lives here, or he was the chair,
Former
Dr.
chair,
Tom
yeah.
Frazier. You'll catch him on the water riding around in his
We ran
new
into
boat.
my husband and Tom ran into Dylan on the water the other day. It was it's a small world, it turns out.
It's a small waterway.
Didn't actually run into him, but
No.
saw him.
Ran past, adjacent.
But if you do have any fisheries management questions, or if you have a fisheries science question, I can always alley-oop you to somebody that knows the answer to that, or I can, take a stab at it. You can get in touch with me by either calling 813-348-1630. There'll be an option to ask a fisheries question, and that forwards straight to my cell phone. Or if you want to send me some comment, or if you have an email that you want to send me, Golf Council, and it's COUNCIL, and golf, not like the sport, but like the waterway. Golf Council at golfcouncil.org, and that's how you can get in touch with me. And honestly, I live and breathe to answer your questions and to help you get involved in this process. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Use it and abuse it, like me.
Yes, Dylan's got me on speed dial, like the inappropriate Sunday morning 6 a.m. speed dial.
Oh yeah.
And I answer, don't I?
Most of the time, unless it's like 3 a.m. after a live show, then sometimes she doesn't answer.
Because I do sleep.
Sometimes.
Or I go to Waffle House between those hours.
There you go.
Way
When
to
you're
bring it
blacked
back in.
out drunk. There you go. Thanks for bringing Waffle House up again. I appreciate
Well,
that.
Mike's not here, so,
Someone's got to do it. So as far as fishing goes, guys, we got a great second half of the week ahead. It's going to be a little breezy first half of the week. We definitely are going to see that cold front action. We've had a couple cold fronts. They've been super mild. This one's going to be kind of medium strength. It's definitely going to create a little bit of a north wind on us, but the real hardened down wind will come from the east wind as a high pressure settles in behind this front the first half of the week, and then it will kind of ease off. The second half of the week we'll have a nice kind of moderate, dry, sunny week, low rain chances, and coming up on a full moon, we should have some good tides. Red fishing's been hot inshore. You got mackerel around the bay, flounder picking up, pompano picking up, near shore hogfish bites getting better. We got kingfish and mackerel around. Mangrove snapper is incredible. You've got a 3-week red snapper federal for-hire season extension going on. Lots of ways to get out in the water. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy, make sure to join us tomorrow, Sunday, on 620 WDAE for the Sunday Real Animals Show. And Captain Rob, appreciate you, man. Thanks for running the boards this morning for us. And he's going to be filling in tomorrow at 620 too. So give him a call, and don't forget to join us next week for another episode of the Real Animals Radio Show. Y'all have a great day. Tight lines. We're out.
Waiting by the payphone.
See, it's not as bad as you thought it was.
No, I knew today wasn't.
Thank you guys for tuning in and joining us this morning on... Man, my headphones are loud. Are those your headphones?
Yeah, they're loud.
Slide it down. There we go. Whoa, not that way. Appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us this morning. Hopefully you enjoyed the Facebook stream, and I did forget to hit the button one time, so I apologize for that. But hopefully you enjoyed it nonetheless. And our special guest, thank you for coming this morning, Miss Emily.
And honestly, guys, get in touch with me if you have fisheries management questions. I'd love to help you out.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can get involved. I'm happy to answer your questions. You can join us for one of our Sunday night live shows where we talk about it more. We just did a video this past week, about 30 minutes, kind of a high-level overview about how fisheries science and management works. Talked a lot more about what we talked about this morning. And this past Wednesday, we did a fishing seminar at Fat Cat Fishing Club Tavern with the Fat Cat Tavern at Fat Cat Tavern for the Fat Cat Fishing Club. And that hour-and-a-half seminar was essentially turned into a education series on fisheries science and management, because that's where the questions went. As Captain Mike likes to say, we like to have fishing conversations, not fishing seminars. Every question was about science and management. Good. So it's an hour-and-a-half segment there where we talked a lot about how this all works too. So there's a lot of videos out there on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook and YouTube channel. Some of that is also cross-pollinated there on the Real Animals page, so check it out. Get in touch with us if you have more questions, comments, concerns, issues. And you've given out your phone number a couple times. To do it one more time because it's hard to remember.
813-348-1630.
Extension 2 to go to her cell phone and bother her.
Bother me.
And you can always call me, 727-393-1947, extension 306. And I got her phone number too, if you forget. So you can always call me, email me, and we can chat. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Real Animals Radio Show. And don't forget, tomorrow morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on WDAE, Mike Mahoney and the gang will be live for the Sunday Real Animals Show. And then tomorrow night, we've got our live show from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. every Sunday night right on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook. And it's also streamed live here on the Real Animals Facebook too, and on YouTube as well, and a bunch of other pages too. So check that live show out. We'll talk more about fishing, answer your questions live, and we give away over $700 in free fishing trips every week. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, right?
That's way better than the Gulf Council gift pack that I had.
It is a little bit better. But I'm going to go and eat some stone crabs today and enjoy my bountiful stone crab pool. Was that too soon?
No, because my traps are in the water and they don't get better.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in this morning, and thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.